Viewer, it's been a nightmare weekend for Maldives. For the last 72 hours, the island nation has been firefighting the very expensive fallout of the stupidity of three young ministers. These three ministers, with their juvenile, venomous tweets against India and Prime Minister Modi, have not only managed to inflame social media, but they've actually damaged their country financially. I don't know how many Indians have cancelled their planned holidays to Maldives. It could be in the hundreds or the thousands or more. But what these three foolish ministers have managed to do is infuriate a country that sends the maximum number of tourists to Maldives each year. An incredible 10% of all tourist inflows are Indian. But by now you already probably know this. To call this shooting yourself in the foot is a massive understatement. It's easy to dismiss this as social media outrage, but look around you. Ask around in your WhatsApp groups. I'm sure you're already seeing echoes of this anger. There's been reportedly a 3,400% spike in travel searches for Lakshadweep and other Indian beach destinations on the market leader in travel bookings, Make My Trip. There's been a definite wave of cancellations by potential Indian travelers to Maldives, though we don't have an exact number, driven not by peer pressure of social media angst, but by the simple force of anger against a country that has the temerity, the audacity to abuse the leader of a nation whose people literally pay for a tenth of the lifeblood of Maldives. It's actually stupefying. But let's not simply dismiss these ministers as fools and their words as casual contempt. They're anything but fools. They're ministers. They're elected representatives. Their words may have backfired spectacularly on the Maldives, which is now knee-deep in damage control, but let's make no mistake where this venom actually stems from. For one thing, the current Maldives government and dispensation has come to power on a potent cocktail of communal anti-Indian nationalism, stoked and funded by who else? China. For China, this hasn't been a very difficult exercise, but China is a smart player. You've got to give them that. Did you know, for instance, that between 2014 and 2018, Maldives sent more citizens per capita to join the Islamic State, ISIS, and fight for that terror organization than any other country in the world? Or that this policy, in all but name, under a previous president, was official? Did you know that India Out was an official campaign slogan of the current ruling party of Maldives? All that China needed to really do was pour some kerosene in the right places, paint India as an anti-Muslim nation, and then sit back and enjoy the show. China also provided the ready-made playbook for already bigoted Maldivian politicians to paint India as dirty, smelly, and Indian tourists as notoriously badly behaved. The cocktail was set, everything was ready. That's the reason why, despite Modi not saying a single word about Maldives, all it took was a few right-wing tweets to push the Maldives Mantralaya into an ugly communal rage. The problem with Chinese kerosene is that it can badly backfire on you, and in one way explains the xenophobia displayed by a multiplicity of Maldivian ministers. That's why even as the Maldives Prime Minister now begins a trip to China, his entire government is practically on its knees pleading for forgiveness from India, chastising its errant netas and getting its tour operators to literally beg travelers not to cancel their bookings. It's a tragic spectacle because ultimately these three idiot ministers who've been suspended now will probably be drafted back in once this entire storm has died down. It's the hotels, the airlines, the tour operators, the boat owners and staff who will ultimately suffer, not the government of Maldives. What Maldives has got is a taste of the blurred lines between online and offline outrage. If they thought this was some social media mob venting their anger against Maldives for jumping to the Chinese camp in the previous election, they couldn't be more wrong. Maldives is a part of a larger strategic game of chess in the Indian Ocean. China seeks to exert influence in island nations across the region in order to encircle India from the oceans. In Maldives, it has managed to do so quite successfully in this election cycle. But the backsplash of that kerosene is plain for everyone to see now. You cannot inject poison into a country and then expect there not to be some kind of backsplash. As a final note, viewer, it's easy to feel proud of Lakshadweep and feel an urge to travel there. But it's my job to tell it to you straight. As things stand right now, Lakshadweep is no match for Maldives. There is simply no comparison. It may sound good for a media battle, for social media anger, for nationalism, but there's a long journey ahead. It needs to go beyond celebrity tweets and flash-in-the-pan interest by urban Indians. It needs to go beyond social media hoopla and media soundbites. If we are to truly convert and make use of a collective sense of insult from Maldives to do something good for India, it should be to accept the reality of where we actually are, how much work needs to be done, how much needs to change culturally and otherwise to respect our own territories, give them the love and the attention they deserve before we make them truly befitting for guests from around the world. This story shouldn't be about Maldives, viewer. Indians may change their Maldives plans either from a sense of hurt or out of a nervousness in an era of social media outrage and hyper-nationalism. But what will change, and that will change as the storm settles. Let's be clear, people will carry on with their Maldives plans. People will travel to Maldives from India. But if there's a victory in all of this, it is the total commitment, or the commitment to commit to making India and Indian destinations truly world-class. That needs to be the true destination of this entire affair. Thank you for listening. Now, while the entire Maldives damage control has been taking place, there's been an organic wave of interest in Lakshadweep since Prime Minister Modi posted a 1-minute, 28-second video about his trip to the island territories in the Arabian Sea. Lakshadweep has topped the search lists in the last 3 days on Google. Travel portals are offering special discounts for Indian beaches. The Prime Minister's video also triggered a diplomatic face-off with Maldivian ministers and MPs, as you just saw, unleashing racist attacks. That backlash has now resulted in several Indian tourists, we don't really know how many, cancelling their planned travel to Maldives.
द्वीप की सुंदरता को शब्दों में समेटना बहुत मुश्किल है। जो लोग दुनिया के अलग-अलग देशों के द्वीपों को देखने जाना चाहते हैं, वहां के समंदर से अभिभूत है, उनसे मेरा आग्रह है कि वो पहले लक्षद्वीप आकर जरूर देखें।
3 days after the Prime Minister posted this video of his trip to Lakshadweep, there's been a tsunami of interest. Lakshadweep was Google's top searched keyword for 2 days after the Prime Minister posted pictures from his trip to the Union Territory. A host of celebrities, including actors and sportspersons, joined in, asking people to explore Indian islands. From Salman Khan to Varun Dhawan, Shraddha Kapoor to Ranveer Singh and Amitabh Bachchan, PV Sindhu to Virendra Sehwag and Sachin Tendulkar. The Prime Minister's post triggered a massive interest in unexplored beach destinations in India, especially Lakshadweep. So much so that Make My Trip declared that the portal had observed a 3,400% increase in on-platform searches for Lakshadweep. The surge in searches prompted Make My Trip to launch a Beaches of India campaign.
Lakshadweep has seen a remarkable 3,400% increase in searches ever since our Honorable PM visited the islands. So this kind of inspired us to build an entire campaign around it. So we are launching Beaches of India. We are also providing consumers with remarkable deals and discounts so they can actually live this experience and see these beaches for real.
If on one hand the interest in Lakshadweep is soaring, Maldives has taken a nosedive. Maldives is facing a wave of cancellations of trips by Indians after a series of comments from the island nation targeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his visit to Lakshadweep. Screenshots of cancelled flights and hotel reservations began circulating online, and the hashtag Boycott Maldives trended on social media platforms in India. Travel agency Ease My Trip has suspended all flight bookings to Maldives.
For us, Ease My Trip, which is a homegrown company, one of the largest travel portal, we are ready to sacrifice about 2.4 lakh bookings which happen on annual basis to Maldives in order to make a statement that for us, always and always nation will come first. And in respect to that, we have basically taken a consideration of not booking any flights to Maldives from India henceforward.
In the year 2023, Indians made for 11% tourists in Maldives. The backlash against the island nation and the resurgence of interest in Indian islands is sure to hurt Maldives more than it imagined. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now I want to break down some numbers to really show you the kind of damage that Maldives has done to itself. We just told you in our report, Indian tourists account for 11% of total tourist inflows to Maldives. Now this computation by India Today's Data Intelligence Unit shows you how in the last decade and more, the number of Indian tourists to Maldives has steadily increased. While till 2019, China topped the list with the maximum number of tourists to Maldives, now till 2023, India has overtaken China in the Maldivian tourist tally. China is way, way lower now than India. India is by far the country that sends the maximum number of tourists to Maldives, followed by Russia, and then you've got China in position number 3, which is exactly the opposite of what it was just 11, 12 years ago. So it is India, the country that sends the maximum number of tourists to the Maldives at about 11%. That's the country that Maldives has planned to insult and inflame. Now remember, apart from public outrage, social media hoopla over what's happening, a celebrity campaign, well, it appears like a campaign, called Explore Indian Islands has been trending on social media for the last 48 hours. Suddenly, a large spate of high-profile actors, sportspersons, celebrities have all been tweeting, from Amitabh Bachchan, Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, John Abraham, Shraddha Kapoor, Tiger Shroff, Varun Dhawan, Ranveer Singh. They've all been posting about India's unexplored beach destinations. Was it a planned activity? We don't know, but it all came at the same time. And all of it specifically about Lakshadweep being on their travel bucket list. Meanwhile, Poonam Pandey, well-known actor, model, said she was cancelling her work, a planned trip to Maldives in the next few days. She says she's cancelling it and will be shooting instead in Lakshadweep. So that was Poonam Pandey, the first to actually come forward and say that she is cancelling plans to do something in the Maldives. In fact, Poonam Pandey is live with me here on 5 Live. Poonam, good to see you. Thank you very much for being with India Today. My first question to you, Poonam, you know, we've just seen your tweet that you put out yesterday saying that you've decided to scrap a scheduled shoot in Maldives, which I imagine is not easy to do at all. But explain to us your decision. Why have you decided to cancel your planned shoot in Maldives?
See, Maldives and I mean, I have had a long association. I've been filming there. I don't know how many shoots I've done there. A lot of calendar shoots, you know. Being a bikini model, for me, it's, you know, near the beach. Always. एक recent एक shoot अभी हम वहाँ पे करने वाले थे, जो इस month end पे हम जाने वाले थे, but उसके पहले obviously ये जो इन्होंने इतने जिस तरीके के इन्होंने remarks, you know, they've spoken about our Prime Minister, our country. I mean, it's not acceptable. You can't say something like that. It's nasty. Especially when you're getting so much business out of our country. I mean, every time that I've been to Maldives, I only see Indians over there. Like so many of them. Yeah. So, you know, we are giving you so much business, itna sab kar, and you are just sitting on that beautiful chair and you can speak whatever you feel like, you know, just because you have a position. And that also shows the kind of mentality you keep about my country and about my Prime Minister. So obviously, I'm not doing my shoots there, that's for sure. and we have such beautiful island, you know, Lakshadweep, and हमारे पास इतना सब कुछ अच्छा है तो हम क्यों जाए वहां पे, वैसे भी तो यहीं पे करते हैं ना अपना काम. तो इनफैक्ट मेरी जो शूट थी हम यहीं पे लाइन अप करने का प्लान कर रहे हैं.
But Poonam, won't your work suffer? You know, Maldives is a very popular shoot destination for models, for shoots, etc. Won't your work suffer because you must be working with agencies that separately plan to shoot over there? It may not always be you taking that decision. So will your work suffer because of this?
I actually, fortunately, I convinced them last night itself. So they are okay, and they're agreeing to this decision also. Let's not shoot in Maldives. And I mean, of course, dates ke changes ho gaye hain, and yes, there has been a loss also for me. But I told them, you know, whatever the money is, I'll pay. मेरा जो भी होगा मैं वो भी कर दूंगी, आप टेंशन मत लीजिए. यार वहाँ पे जाके शूट करेंगे, and these guys are talking like this about my country. Not a good thing. क्यों बात ही क्यों करना है? इतना हमसे पैसे ले रहे हो, इतना हमसे बिजनेस ले रहे हो, आप ऐसे कैसे बात कर सकते हैं? And how can you speak like that about these? You know, we are puppets. Like you don't know our prime minister properly or what?
No, I agree with you. It's, you know, it seems pretty stupid given the number of Indians who actually travel there, Poonam. You know, what did you think of those ministers and the way they were speaking on social media? You know, you've traveled to Maldives, like you said, many times before. You've seen thousands of Indians and tourists there. 11% is the number. Percentage of tourists that actually are from India is 11%. What did you think of the words that they used?
I mean, उनको बहुत इफेक्ट होगा, बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट होगा. उनको ये बोलने से पहले सोचना चाहिए था कि किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हो. एटलीस्ट थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए. तो यार इंडियंस, खैर हम बाहर बहुत लोगों को बिजनेस देते हैं, उन्हीं को नहीं, ऐसे बहुत सारे और देश हम जिनको बिजनेस देते रहते हैं. तो इट्स नथिंग न्यू अबाउट.
पूनम, क्या आपको लगता है कि एज एन इन्फ्लुएंसर, क्या आपको लगता है दैट योर एक्शन विल हैव एन इफेक्ट ऑन अदर्स टू? यू नो, यू हैव मिलियंस ऑफ फॉलोअर्स एंड एडमायरर्स. They will also see you taking a difficult decision like this and probably also think, hey, you know, why should I tolerate this nonsense and take a similar decision?
No, I think no one should tolerate such insults about their country. You know, it's unacceptable. And what you just asked about, you know, my filming, my shooting, we have beautiful places in India, and you know, I can shoot there. Lakshadweep, अभी जो मैंने shoot cancel किया है, so we are planning to film it in Lakshadweep only. And I would request all Indians, you know, if you want to enjoy it in Lakshadweep. You know, it's a better place, cleaner, nicer.
Is there a professional risk for people like you, you know, because you have full teams, you've got a lot of money riding on you for all these shoots, to, you know, to move away from Maldives, jahan pe sara infrastructure hai, come to Lakshadweep, which is no comparison yet. Hopefully it will be in the future. Kya ek risk banta hai aapke liye, Poonam? Does that make you nervous?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. मालदीव्स आज की तारीख में जो बना हुआ है, अगर आप वहां पे देखें तो they remove their sand ताकि वो और आगे, you know, they remove. It's like insane things that happens over there. If you give tourism to Lakshadweep, obviously वो भी करेंगे ना, जाहिर सी बात है. आप उनको business ही नहीं दे रहे हो and you're just sitting home and going somewhere else. So even I've done that. So and I'm thinking, you know, I'm on those lines ki why not? So yeah.
Poonam, we wish you all the best. You've decided to cancel a Maldives shoot and you've decided you're going to be shooting in Lakshadweep. We look forward to that. All the very best. Hopefully people will see you in Lakshadweep and say, hey, look, if Poonam Pandey can go there and do this, you know, complicated shoot with so many moving parts, maybe Lakshadweep is on its way to becoming ready to being a global destination. It's nowhere close to being what Maldives is right now, but that journey perhaps has actually begun. Now, Poonam, thank you very much for joining me. Now, celebrities in their hundreds have come forward, from actors, high-profile star, A-listers, TV stars, social media influencers have all come out in unison to talk about Lakshadweep. Not all of them are, you know, dissing Maldives like you just saw Poonam Pandey do, but all of them are part of a wave of voices, high-profile voices with millions of followers and fans across the country and across the world who are calling attention to Indian destinations, and they are doing it in style. Joining me live, some of those voices, and I wanted to sort of investigate and explore some of those themes in a little greater detail, because there is one view that some of these things are just social media gussa. This is just to trend some kind of thing. Kuch din ke baad ye chala jayega and everybody will forget about Lakshadweep and everyone will fly back to Maldives. So let's see what some of India's best faces think. Dalit Tahil, veteran actor. Welcome, sir. Bharat Dabolkar is also an actor. Thank you for being with us. Ravira Bharadwaj is also an actor. To all three of you for being with me, thank you very much. Dalipji, starting with you, how do you feel about, what the Maldivian minister said and, and the wave of reactions that have taken place ever since, sir? What do you think about that? Where do you stand? Would you travel to Maldives? How do you feel?
Well, a very, very good evening to you, Shiv, and thank you for having me on your show. I think that you have very eloquently, before the show started, talked about the politics of this whole situation and described that side of it. So
yes, sir.
I think the Ministry of External Affairs and the Maldivian government are handling that side of it. And I think it's a complete own goal. Very unfortunate statements. It doesn't dent the Honorable Prime Minister's status or image or his stature in any way. Neither does it really affect India to that extent. However, like I said, it's a known goal. It's a red card. A very unfortunate thing to say. But what it has done, in my opinion, I would like to focus on the fact that India has so many local holiday destinations. One of them is Lakshadweep.
Yes.
And Lakshadweep is so beautiful. I have been there on several occasions, almost 15 years ago. The beaches are pristine. It is an absolutely wonderful place to go. And I hope this will be an opportunity for the Ministry of Tourism to develop the Lakshadweep so that it can attract more tourists from India and from overseas. And eventually, I mean, as most things are, I would like to see the Lakshadweep, come up as a beach destination internationally and especially for the Indian people. So I think this is a great opportunity to take that forward.
Okay, very important. And I think I completely agree with Dalip Tahil when he says that this is an opportunity for India. The Maldives versus Lakshadweep thing sounds very fancy for social media, but all this attention means there is a great opportunity to truly begin to make Lakshadweep a world-class and sustainable destination. Ravira, have you been to either Maldives or Lakshadweep? And what do you think about all the gussa people are expressing? Because it's beyond social media. I personally know people who have actually decided ki Lakshadweep hi jayenge hum.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Actually, I've neither been to both Maldives and Lakshadweep. And although being a traveler, I know it's strange, but I've been to Andaman and I've heard a lot about Lakshadweep as well. So a lot of people that don't know that Andaman has really blue waters. I think it's even better than many countries that I've been to. And I'm sure even Lakshadweep has like really pristine, untouched beaches, which we can explore as Indians. And after seeing PM Modi's video, I also saw they have really beautiful ocean bed. Being a scuba diver and I do snorkeling as well, such pieces of corals and orchids are very difficult to find in very commercial places. So Lakshadweep has that advantage of natural beauty within the ocean bed, and we should definitely explore that. And jahan tak gusse ki baat hai, I think we are Indians, we are a very friendly country, but we don't take just any insult to us, and that's the new India that we are. That you cannot just insult us. And we as Indians, we will always stand by our Prime Minister, and that's what patriotism is all about. And whatever they said was wrong. And India itself is like a world. We have mountains, we have beaches, from east to west to north to south. We have everything within our own country. And as Indians, we should really promote our own destinations. So Lakshadweep is definitely one of the top destinations. I think it should be the new honeymoon destination, how Maldives was for Indians. So I guess Lakshadweep should be developed in a way that newly married couples can go there, and even, like youngsters and friends and family should go and visit Lakshadweep. And I'm sure those blue, clear, untouched waters with the white sand is going to make everyone happy within the country.
Well, Make My Trip, Ravira, which is the dominating travel bookings company in the country, has just reported a 3,400% increase in search terms for Lakshadweep travel. So that's a crazy spike in interest for Lakshadweep. But, I also want to give all of our viewers, before I go to Bharat Dabolkar, there needs to be a little bit of a reality check also, because it's very fancy to compare these two islands, Maldives and Lakshadweep. But the fact is, Lakshadweep at present is not on the same scale as Maldives. It does not have a fraction of the number of hotels or resorts or infrastructure. So it's not ready for that kind of scale of tourism and inflow of tourists. But like Dalit Tahilji said, and I completely agree with him, this needs to be an opportunity to start moving towards that in a responsible and sustainable manner. Bharat Dabolkar, if I could come to you now, do you think this is just a social media trend? ऐसे ही सब Maldives को गाली दे रहे हैं अभी because they insulted us, of course, but and this will just evaporate after a few days, or do you think people are really angry now and it will make a difference, sir?
No, I think it's not a flash in the pan. I think it once again proves that India is now a power center. You can't mess with us or our Prime Minister anymore. But there's 2 or 3 things that I want to mention here. One is that Lakshadweep is not some new kid on the block.
Yeah.
My dear friend Prahlad Kakkar has been running a diving school there for over 30 years now. And lots of people have been visiting that and getting diving training there. The other thing that I think when I was listening to other people and you is that it's not just the number of tourists who are going there. Indians world over, as tourists, when they go, they spend the maximum.
Correct.
There are very few tourists from other countries who spend the kind of money that Indians spend when they travel abroad. So I think it's not just the number in terms of how many tourists, but how much money they spend when they go there.
Yeah.
So I think Maldives is not just going to miss out on the number of people coming there, but the kind of revenue that they were getting from Indian tourists.
Yeah.
They book the best rooms. They spend maximum when they travel anywhere in the world. The only sad thing here is I think what happens is India tourism is pathetic. I think barring a state like maybe Rajasthan, nobody has really promoted the tourism that the way they should have done. And I think Mr. Modi going there and doing this has tremendous impact on tourism. And I think other people should now learn to do this. We have pristine beaches, they say, in Konkan area in Maharashtra. And nobody goes there. Barring Goa, nobody knows that there are great kinds of beaches, pristine, untouched beaches available all over Konkan, and nobody knows about them because we've never promoted them. I think this is not just a thing. I think Modi has lit a flame, and now we need to make sure that every destination that we have, it's not just about Maldives and Lakshadweep. Everything that we have in the country is worth visiting, but somebody has to take the stand and say, we will do this and do it in a grand way. In advertising, we say that when you're selling a product, there's a pull and push. You either push by giving discounts or you pull by saying this is a fantastic product. I think time has now come when all our great destinations that we have in the country, we need to make sure that we push them.
I want to explore this a little further. You make a fabulous point, which is about the opportunity now. Dalipji, to take the point that you also made forward a little bit, do you think this little flame that has been lit can be fanned into a fire? Because, too often in this modern day of ours, we get distracted by other things. Over time, these viral images will be forgotten. People will move on to other things. Here lies this fabulous opportunity where people are searching for Lakshadweep on Google. They're looking for it on Make My Trip. There's this amazing interest for Lakshadweep and other Indian destinations. But don't you agree, Dalipji, that it also will require a major cultural shift for Indians to respect their own land and to see the treasures that we have here before we can open them up for outsiders?
Well, I hear what you're saying, and you're right. I mean, and that I have to absolutely, we all have to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for bringing places like Lakshadweep into the foreground, into the focus. As Bharat quite rightly said, I mean, some of us who've been to the dive school, which Prahlad has been running for the past 30 years, have been shouting ourselves hoarse that Lakshadweep is a beautiful location, is pristine, is this. But yeah, the Maldives has its attraction, and I do hope that, you know, after all the things settle down, I mean, we've wrapped them on their knuckles and we've like made our point. Now to go on about it and say that we'll never go to the Maldives is a little impractical. So, I mean, I feel that, you know, we should coexist. And I certainly think that it is very important that the government and the Ministry of Tourism begin to develop these several locations that the Honorable Prime Minister is pointing out, so that it provides an infrastructure for people to be able to make these choices, so that we don't have to go looking elsewhere when we have the infrastructure in our own country. I think that is the most important message that I take from the Honorable Prime Minister's visit, and he has done it deliberately. He has gone there and pinpointed the Lakshadweep deliberately, shown to the nation that he can take a holiday there. Why can't the rest of the nation take a holiday there? And it's worked. Unfortunately, it has come to the expense of the Maldives, which is a beautiful archipelago.
Correct.
And it's a wonderful place to go to. And I truly hope, sincerely hope, that this all settles down and everybody, you know, comes to coexist, as I said. But the good thing that I take from this is that the Lakshadweep now has become an international destination, and that is a wonderful thing to happen from all points of view, not least because Lakshadweep is beautiful. And it's just the most wonderful place to go to.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dalipji, when you say that,
as are other destinations in India.
All of this will settle down. You know, coexisting and competition is really where things should actually be. We, you know, look forward to a nice situation where Lakshadweep and Maldives can actually healthily compete with each other as far as you know, resorts and destination and tourism inflows are concerned, because the intemperate and ugly words used by some Maldivian ministers now, make no mistake, Maldives is paying for it and will be paying for it in the foreseeable future, because there are people who are angry. There are people, we don't know the number, there are people who have decided to cancel shoots. You just heard from Poonam Pandey. There will be hundreds like her who've also decided that they want to you know, put their anger to good use and, at least for the moment, sort of teach Maldives a lesson, for want of a better phrase. Sherlyn Chopra is another very well-known actor and model. She also joins me. Sherlyn, welcome. Have you been to Maldives or Lakshadweep, Sherlyn? Are you angry about the words that you have heard? Are you planning to cancel Maldives? What is your thought right now, Sherlyn?
Yes, I was planning to celebrate my birthday next month in Maldives. Not anymore. I can't wait to explore the sheer beauty and splendor of Lakshadweep Islands. And come to think of it, all our Prime Minister did was shared a few glimpses of the breathtaking beauty of Lakshadweep Islands. That's all he did. And he praised the beauty, the splendor of Lakshadweep. So this post was never intended to provoke the ministers.
He didn't even name Maldives, Sherlyn. He didn't even name Maldives.
Yeah, exactly. This was never intended to provoke the ministers of Maldives. I don't know why they had to spew venom and hatred in retaliation to this post. So they must understand that if they want the money of Indians, they must respect India. They must respect the Indian Prime Minister. As simple as that. You cannot be talking very poorly of our Prime Minister and expect us to fly to Maldives and spend our money on your tourism. No, that's not how it goes. You respect us and then we spend money in your country. So when I got to know about this exchange of words on social media platforms, I was dumbstruck. I said to myself, oh my God, what is this? What's going on? And then, you know, I decided that I would never, ever visit Maldives until they issue a public apology to our Prime Minister. This is totally unacceptable. मतलब आपको हमारा पैसा चाहिए, लेकिन आप हमारे प्रधानमंत्री का अनादर करेंगे, आप उनका अपमान करेंगे. क्यों करेंगे भाई? क्या किया हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने? लक्षद्वीप के कुछ विजुअल्स पोस्ट किए ना, कुछ ग्लिम्पसेस पोस्ट किए. इसमें ऐसा क्या खराब था ऐसा क्या था जो आप पचा नहीं सके, जो आपको लगा ओ माय गॉड हमारे साथ कंपटीशन कर रहे हैं? नहीं, तो इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं थी, इस तरह के मतलब हेट्रेड की जरूरत नहीं थी। हाँ, कोई अगर आपको उकसाता है, आप इस तरह रिटेलिएट करते हैं तो बात अलग है, लेकिन यहाँ पर किसी ने आपको बिल्कुल नहीं उकसाया।
नहीं, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से किसी ने नहीं उकसाया। कुछ ट्वीट्स तो सामने आए थे जिसमें ये कंपैरिजन था लक्षद्वीप और मालदीव्स के ऊपर, और उसको लेकर ये सारा मिनिस्टर्स की तरफ से ये हमला हुआ था। लेकिन शर्लिन, माय सेकंड क्वेश्चन,
नहीं, मालदीव्स के मिनिस्टर्स बोलते हैं या गुड ट्राई बट यू कैन नॉट कम्पीट विद द टूरिज्म ऑफ मालदीव्स। व्हाट डज इट मीन? व्हाट डज गुड ट्राई मीन? अरे, अगर भारत के प्रधानमंत्री भारत के यूनियन टेरिटरी का मतलब भारत के यूनियन टेरिटरी की प्रशंसा कर रहे हैं, लक्षद्वीप की प्रशंसा कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें गलत क्या है? व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय नाइस ट्राई? दिस इज नॉट अ नाइस ट्राई. दिस इज हाउ इंडिया इज. वी प्रेज the beauty of our country. We praise the beauty of our union territories. That's how India is. Get used to it. Nice try, but you can't compete with the tourism of Maldives. Acha? You think India is dependent on Maldives? No. Get a reality check. You guys are dependent on us for your tourism. We have beautiful locales in our country. From Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we have beautiful locales. We can go to India all around the year.
But Sherlyn,
to celebrate our anniversaries, our birthdays. We don't need Maldives. हाँ, हम जा रहे हैं ये सोचकर कि चलो ठीक है, Maldives हमारा अच्छा नेबर है, चलो वहां पर जाकर पैसा खर्चा करते हैं। लेकिन
Sherlyn, you have decided. Sherlyn, you've taken the difficult decision.
प्रधानमंत्री का ये हम कैसे बर्दाश्त करें?
Sherlyn, you've taken the difficult decision to not have your birthday in Maldives. You will have it here in India or elsewhere until they issue an apology. Hear my question. मेरा सवाल ये है कि कुछ लोग बोलेंगे कि ये तो एक ट्रेंड है, ये because of social media outrage, certain people want some attention, they're coming out and being part of the trend. I am not saying it. I'm saying some people will accuse you and say that ये तो social media गुस्सा है, trending और traction के लिए, पूनम पांडे, शर्लिन चोपड़ा ऐसे लोग सामने आ रहे हैं और बोल रहे हैं कि हम मालदीव्स को कैंसिल करेंगे। आपका जवाब क्या होगा? What will you say? Because they will say that your गुस्सा is not real.
पूरे देश को बोलना चाहिए कि अगर आपको भारत का पैसा चाहिए, आपको भारत देश की इज्जत करनी चाहिए। अगर आप हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री का अपमान करेंगे, हम आपके देश में आकर पैसा खर्चा नहीं करेंगे। ये बात सिर्फ कुछ लोगों की नहीं है, ये बात पूरे देश की है। देश के प्रधानमंत्री से बढ़कर, देश की गरिमा से बढ़कर कोई टूरिज्म कैसे हो सकता है? ये सोचने वाली बात है। आप कहते हैं अरे आपके देश से तो बदबू आती है। अच्छा, हमारे पैसों से बदबू नहीं आती क्या? तो मत लो हमारे पैसे। अरे आपके देश में तो गोबर के लड्डू मिलते हैं। ओके, तो हम कहां आपके मुंह में ठूस रहे हैं उन लड्डुओं को? जो गलत है वो गलत है। नहीं, आपको बदबू आती है हमारे देश से, तो हमारे पैसों से क्यों खुशबू आती है?
I hear your anger and I hear your emotions, and I'm sure that people across the country feel that anger.
ये सारी बातें कही गई थी सोशल मीडिया पर। आपके देश में ऐसा होता है, आपके देश में वैसा होता है। ओके, अगर हमारा देश इतना ही खराब है, इतना ही बुरा है, तो हमारे पैसे आप क्यों स्वीकार कर रहे हैं? बोलो कि लानत है आपके पैसों पर, बोलो ना। अगर जिगरा है तो बोलो, लेकिन नहीं, आपको पैसा चाहिए हमारा।
Okay. Sherlyn, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing your travel plans with us. You've decided not to have your birthday. I wish you a happy birthday in advance wherever you plan to celebrate it. And we will come to it next and we will report it when you do. Thank you very much. Sherlyn, also to Dalit Tahilji and Bharat Dabolkarji for joining us here on India Today.